Hi, this is your 2019 yearly horoscopes with me, Lada, from Astrolada.com. Thank you for choosing me to be your guide for the year 2019. I feel very flattered. And I just want, before we start, and this is the intro for all 12 signs, but it's important for you to watch it. And before I start for each sign, I want to invite you to join me in a little prayer, no matter who you believe in and what you believe in, just to focus our energy and to benefit the most through this reading. Dear Mother, Father, Universe, God, exalted angels, guardians of every human, those that are helping the evolution of humanity and of every individual person. Please bless everyone who watches those videos and the whole world in 2019. Let those videos and the information that is given here be useful to everyone, so everyone can use it to the most constructive possible ways, to the highest vibration of the planets. And even if there are challenging periods and moments in our life in 2019, let this video and this information give us not only clarity but a meaning and understanding of those more painful experiences that are in front of us, so we realize that life is not an adversary to battle with and conquer, that life is our benevolent good partner that is trying to lead us to discover our true authenticity. It is trying to lead us to a place of happiness, to a place of truthfulness. So let this year 2019 and the information we receive here, let us use it to the highest good for everyone involved, and let us be able to utilize the planetary energies to help ourselves, to uplift ourselves and those around us. Amen. So I want for you to benefit the most. Thank you so much for joining me, by the way, in the prayer. So for you to benefit the most from this, I want you to take a pen and paper and write down 3 things. And some of you would be just listening your sun sign. Others would be just listening to your moon sign. Others bought all the 12 videos, so you'll be able to be watching your ascendant, sun, and moon. But I always advise you, watch your ascendant sign, because if you go to a professional astrologer, they'll look at your ascendant and how the planets are in correspondence, where they're moving from that ascendant. And nowadays, more and more astrologers are using the ancient time of astrology, which is whole sign house system. So these videos are perfect. The whole sign house system is what when first astrologers created it, the system they were using it. So without the house cusps and anything. So the ascendant is the point of incarnation of the physical body. So it is of the soul into the physical body. It is the physical bodies. That's why it shows the most tangible things that are happening to us. That's why I always advise, check the prognosis for your ascendant sign. The moon sign is our inner world, how we feel, our self-consciousness. So the moon usually manifests the second most powerful after the ascendant sign, because we especially strongly identify with how we feel about something, and something that impacts us emotionally. And even though, for example, from the ascendant, some big event might be happening, like changing of place of living, but from the moon, it's shown that, for example, you will be having a quarrel with a friend. For you, this will be a way bigger deal, because emotionally this feels much stronger for you, this quarrel with a friend, for example, than the relocation that's happening. But from the ascendant, it shows the specific things that are happening in your life in a tangible way, because the ascendant is the material body and what is happening to us on our path in that material body. And the sun sign is what most of the people only check, and but that's pop astrology. But still, the sun sign is very important. The sun sign is our willpower, our goals. It's our ability to channel divine intelligence. And the sun sign will show us, looking at the prognosis from the sun sign, will show us especially the things that we are striving towards to achieve consciously. And the prognosis for the sun sign, we tend to have more free will over that prediction, what you're going to read, because the sun is connected to free will, while the moon symbolizes the past. These are things that often happen. The prediction from the moon are encoded from the past, while from the ascendant sign, it's sealed in stone, so to speak, So yes, checking the sun sign is very important, especially because you can direct the events there more with your free will. The moon sign, you feel like it's more fated and it affects your feelings the most and your personal life. And the ascendant sign is the most tangible event. So I would advise start with the ascendant sign and progress. And for you to know, though, a lot of people don't know, the sun sign is the one that everyone speaks about. You know, like, oh, what are you? I'm an Aries. It means I'm born from March the 20th to April 20th, something like that. But and I can give you predictions for, oh, if you're born from March 1st to March 5th, this and this will be happening for you. But every year they change, the sun moves into a different sign a day before or after, and I want to be way more precise for you. So instead of giving you days, we're gonna find the degrees of your sun, the degrees of your moon, and the degrees of your ascendant signs. And for some of you, the moon and the ascendant might be the same, or the sun and the moon. Rarely, but it happens. So for you to find this out, I want you to, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me just. Here it is. Share. So I hope you see it. Go to my birth website, astrolada.com. You see it here. And go to the birth chart and transits. Or if you have any other astrology calculator, I don't mind as long as it gives you the information that I'm going to show. So here I'm going to put a fictitious person, let's say whatever name. Write your name. So you're born in August the 6th, 1972, for example, at 8 a.m. or make sure that if you're born later, you check if it's 8 p.m., 20, And it's important for your correct ascendant and for the degree, in particular for the ascendant and the direct degree of the moon, the correct sign and degree of the moon, for you to know your minute of birth. If you don't know it within 15, 20 minutes, the degree of the ascendant might be 3 or 4 degrees off, but the moon degree would usually be correct. But say you're born 8/17, and say you're born in the USA, and you're born in New York, and you have the drop-down menu. Which New York are you born in? Well, there are many New Yorks, say New York Hospital, whatever. And continue, press continue. And then you're gonna get this chart, and I want you to scroll down, you see, not here, but here inside. And you're gonna see this, which shows planetary details. And I want you to, there is abbreviation of ascendant, sun, and moon. This is the only work you have to do. After that, just listen and enjoy and wait to hear your degrees. I'll be speaking generally about each sign, but especially when I mention the degree of the sign that you have. This is when things are going to, you're going to feel them so intensely. So this person, for example, has ascendant, which means your rising sign is the same. Ascendant, rising means the same. The physical body, it is at 20 degrees Aquarius. I want you to write just the first degree. The second one is not so important. This is 28 minutes. This is very minimal. So 20 degrees, write down on a piece of paper, Aquarius 20 degrees. You have to watch the video for Aquarius. And every time I mention Aquarians born, say, from 17 to 21 degrees and you're 20, they'll experience this in particular this year. And you should be like, okay, this is very specific for you. It's gonna manifest. You're gonna feel it. Then write down your sun sign. This person, for example, has sun at 14 degrees Leo. And the moon sign. The moon sign for this person is at 16 degrees Cancer. So if you've bought, for example, if your sun is in Leo, make sure that you know the degree for your sun. So in this case, this is the sign. The sun is the sign everyone knows. I'm a Leo, I'm a Virgo, So, but make sure you check the degree of your sun. Check the degree of your sun. Check the degree of your ascendant or moon, whichever one you're waiting. And then, so for example, if you have the all 15 videos, this person has to check the video for Aquarius, Leo, and Cancer. So I hope it's not too complicated. It's actually quite simple. You can watch the video a few times to understand what it means. But now know the degree. Write it down, have it on a piece of paper, and whatever you're listening to, if it's your moon sign that you're listening, knowing the degree, when you hear your moon degree, you're like, ting, that's specific for me. For the ascendant sign, overall, the whole prediction is very correct. While for the sun and moon sign, again, you would feel it maybe to a lesser degree, but especially when I mention your sun or moon degree, this is going to, it's happening. Whatever I talk about, it's happening. You feel it strongly. It's going to be so important for you that year. So, with that introduction, thank you so much. And we're going to start with the signs one by one. Pisces 2019. Well, Pisces, this year it seems you're gonna get some recognition and you're going to be very busy this year because the two most important planets in astrology, which are Jupiter and Saturn, which make things happen basically, they are, if this is the horoscope and this is you here, Pisces, Jupiter is here on the top and Saturn is very much at the top as well in the 10th and in the 11th houses. Very visible, very visible positions, and very auspicious houses according to astrology. And they are very ambitious houses, both of them. And not only that, but you have a bigger impact on the world, on your career, with achievements of your goals. And let's start with Jupiter and then we'll go into Saturn. But you see, the most visible part of the horoscope, this is where the planets are moving. And especially if your ascendant is in Pisces, some pretty kind of uh, uh, well recognized positions, achievements of goals will be happening this year. And starting with Jupiter, because Jupiter is such an important planet for you, because it's the traditional ruler of Pisces, it's the visible ruler of Pisces. Neptune as well, but Jupiter in particular rules the more tangible things that are happening, the more materially noticeable things that are happening with Pisces. And it being on top of your horoscope in the house of public recognition indicates that you're becoming visible. There will be opportunities almost the whole of 2019 in regards to improving your social status, because Jupiter is a benefic planet. Wherever it goes, it gives us with blessings, with more ease. It gives us opportunities for growth, for expansion. The 10th house naturally rules your career. So for some of you, they can be like a promotion in a more publicly visible role. It can bring opportunities to the higher ranks, to get you to a higher ranks of visibility, especially if you're already in a position of authority where you're a boss of some sort, or where you have public responsibilities and the need to be accountable towards others. And executive decisions that you have to meet. Wow, Jupiter can indicate a further promotion or uh, recognition for your efforts and strengthening and better results in your career, basically. And you can also indicate that some boss figure, which is the 10th house, a benevolent boss figure or authority figure of some sort, helps you in some way, uh, brings opportunities, expands your horizons as well. If you have your own business, it can mean that you're taking further leaderships, responsibilities there, that you're growing your business, that you're growing your influence as well. Opportunities for that will exist. That you're recognized as a figure that is deserves respect, and you're publicly recognized and liked, so to speak, because Jupiter, the 10th house is public recognition, and Jupiter is very benevolent phase that you represent there. But usually, both the 10th and the 11th houses give better results if you are older in life and if you have already certain achievements, because it makes you, puts you even in a more higher visible role and grows those achievements. If you're younger, and it will increase your ambitions, it will increase opportunities to find better careers, or more likely it will give you clarity in regards of what it is you want to do with your life. Because those the 10th and 11th houses, they're Saturnian ruled houses where all the action is happening. They usually give better results later, after more experience, after you have proven yourself in some way. And I remember when I had Jupiter 13 years ago transit through my 10th house, I did not become publicly visible, or I did not get like a huge promotion or anything, but I gained clarity because Jupiter is the planet of truth that brings you answers. I got clarity in regards to what it is I really want to do. And that's when I was convinced that I'm going to do astrology. And I started studying further, pursuing astrological studies and teachers and all those things. But definitely it will give you an opportunities for work as well, for career. Some of you, it might be connected to internship of some sort as well if you're younger. But for the older and more established people that have recognitions previously or that have worked hard to achieve certain state in life, now it's you're getting higher than usual. Now mm, bosses recognize you, you're more visible, as I said. Your ambitions, uh, new opportunities for career and for growing this appearing. Or if you're dissatisfied with a certain career, Jupiter can allow you to have access to a better such career, for example. Uh, and also it can bring educational opportunities because Jupiter is naturally connected to travel, to education in regards to your career, for more knowledge and understanding about it. And if there are any complicated situations connected to authority figures, to people in institutions, Jupiter will give positive resolutions through those and help and support even through those. So apply if you something to a government institution or someone in authority for help and support, and they will provide this for you. Some beneficial father-like figure can appear as well. Also, they can be more travel connected to your career as well, because and make it more international of some sort. And any careers that the Jupiterian in scope will start growing and will have great results. So if you're a teacher, preacher, if you're and I just had the Jupiter return again last year, 2018, Jupiter in the 10th house, and my studying expanded, my teaching expanded, my career expanded through Jupiter in activities, which is guidance, uh, teaching, travel, international business of any sort as well. If you're in business of traveling or import, export, or connecting with foreigners again of some sort, it expands. All right. Promotions and such like. Plus, Jupiter makes a trine to both your second house and both your sixth house. So it should give some improvement as well into how much money you have saved, which is the second house, and attaining valuable objects. It's a good time to buy, for example, things like equipment, and you'll find the right one. You'll be lucky with finding the right equipment or finding valuables, so the things that you're buying and your possessions or the savings that you're having. And it can have a positive influence as well on the sixth house, which is employment. So again, maybe finding a better employment or a boss that is more benevolent and improving the conditions, your working conditions. Um, so it's yeah, and generally those responsibilities of the second, sixth, and 10th house will feel more enjoyable to you, more meaningful. Your career can become more meaningful, or you can find a more meaningful purpose in life in regards to what you want to do. And so you are on top of the horoscope, guys. You are manifesting this year visibility, public recognition, all those things that I said. And at the same time, though, Saturn is going to be in your 11th house. And this is a natural house of Saturn because Saturn is one of the natural rulers of the 11th house. But still, Saturn tends to delay or require more effort wherever it goes. So the 11th house is a financial house in the sense that this is the profit that you make. This is your salary. This is the bonuses you get, or if you have your business, the money your business makes. The second house that we talked about, it's more like what you do with your money, how you invest it, how much you have in the bank account. So Jupiter can grow that. You can be able to have better possessions and invest in things that are more uh, meaningful to you, and financially feel more, let's say that you're building up more. But when it comes to gains itself, Saturn is neither gonna lose you money nor make you more, but Saturn will make you, usually it will maintain the gains, the profits that are coming, but it will come with the expense of extra duties and responsibilities, which is the nature of Saturn. Or maintaining the income will require more effort, so to speak, because that's the nature of Saturn. What can we say? But it's a good house for Saturn. It tends to give good results because you're working hard towards achievement of your goals. And 11th house is connected to your dreams and wishes, and which those dreams and wishes basically is the achievements that we have to have. And those Saturn is fantastic placed here when it transits, because it makes you have this mindset that I'm willing to work harder for the achievement of my goals. I'm willing to put the efforts to build whatever it is that I have to build. And it gives very, especially since it's in its own sign in Capricorn, it gives very productive results. But you might see the results more after Saturn moves your 11 out of your 11th house, which means that towards 2020 more. And you might have been already feeling this influence because Saturn was in your 11th house already in 2018. But it feels like you have a very serious and sober and responsible approach towards achieving your goals, especially your financial, social, economic goals. They might take longer, whatever goals you're working on, whatever profitable means, plans you have. It feels like you're building now this, the hard, you're doing the hard work for it, you're doing the groundwork for it. And you can see great results once Jupiter enters this 11th house of gains. So you can become a lot more profitable and gainful from 2020, and Saturn's going to leave the 11th house. But now you're doing the dirty work, let's say, which will lead you to a bonus, to quite positive results of increase of your gains. And plus the 11th house, the house of prizes and awards, and for previous achievements. And so now you're working, Saturn might delay those recognitions and prizes and awards, make it more laborious, or just requiring more efforts and repeated efforts and trying over. But once Jupiter enters your 11th house 2020, you will receive the prize, you will receive the recognition, the profit, sorry, from those efforts, materially, financially, and larger access to larger community as well. And interestingly enough, because Jupiter is creating opportunities for you in regards to your career, maybe you take them now, and it's good to take those opportunities. If, for example, a job appears or a position which usually will have more of a leadership or elevated role for you, you have to accept it, and you have to work harder, though, because Saturn is in the 11th house, to achieve those goals. And then the profits will come 2020 when Jupiter enters the 11th house as well. But on another level, Saturn in the 11th house can kind of distance you a bit from, because the 11th house rules friends, from social activities, because of increased workload, possibly because your social visibility increases, or a new job, or more work opportunities, and Saturn making you work very hard to achieve your goals. And because of that, you're focused on that, you don't have much time for your friends, so there might be temporary separations with friends as well. And I can give you an example. When Saturn was transiting my 11th house, I could not go out or see friends or anything, because I was working so hard to making my visions and my dreams come true. And that was 2 years ago. So I was like, from morning to evening, working on projects, on developing a network, because the 11th house rules network and Saturn is hard work, to reach out more people, to collaborate with other people, to create a society, basically. Which is the 11th house, so I was working on that, and I didn't have time for my friends. Plus I relocated and I lost a lot of friends. And Saturn can pinch the social let's say, the social interactions, going out for friends, for just for the to networking and stuff like that, unless these are work friends and work associations. So all my friends, when Saturn was transiting the 11th, were connected to work. My social interactions, all of them were connected to work and responsibilities, and you can expect a little bit of this to happen for you. And if it's been happening, to continue, because Saturn is one more year in the 11th, the whole 2019. So you can network with people that you work together with, that you're working on some project together with as well. You can work very hard to build a more stable network, a more profitable network of interconnected and people with mutual interest. You can do the hard work now if you, for example, if you're a social influencer or you're on social media, which is the 11th house again, to work hard to gain more fans. And you're doing the dirty work right now, and when Jupiter enters the 11th house, it's like your followers and fans will expand suddenly. So don't worry, but now is the hard work you have to do. And Saturn gives you this persistence and willingness to do that. But again, as I said, the increase of profit might require a lot more effort. Saturn can still increase your profit, but it's more slowly, with much more responsibilities and duties that you take, and more hard work, so to speak. But usually people feel very satisfied after Saturn leaves the 11th house, because they've achieved a lot through using lawful methods, step by step approach, which is every day a little bit of work, a little bit more in regards to their to achieving of their goals. And 11th house also, when Saturn transit is there, can also mean that not only work friends are more likely, and pleasure friendships are more drained, but that older people become your friends, so people with more authority of some sort. Also, the 11th house indicates that some of your friends might be going through difficult times, that some of your friends might be, just, and you notice that, or that your older siblings, which is the 11th house, as well, there's a temporary disconnection from this older sibling, or because of, again, too much work or some other circumstances, or that they're going through a bit tougher time in their life, for example. It depends what aspect Saturn is making from that 11th house, actually. But Saturn also wants to remove the unrealistic goals that you have for yourself and dreams. So some of you might realize that, okay, they want to do this project, or their goal is to, that by 2020 they want these results or this profit, and they realize that the way they're going about it is not going to get it for them. So they have to trim those unpractical approaches to their goals and dreams, and to their so if you say, oh, I want to gain 5 million by this, and it's basically, if it's not really realistic, Saturn kind of looks at this and like, you have to kind of lower your expectations or make them more realistic in regards where you want to be and you want to achieve. Okay, but again, you are doing great job when Saturn is in the 11th house, because you have the right state of mind. And on another level, what is more the 11th house? Organizing. So if you're organizing conferences, organizing big events of any sort where lots of like-minded people get together, well, if you're already in such a career, you're going to have a lot of responsibilities and duties. There might be certain delays and the need for repeated effort to do that. You can still organize such events. Saturn manifests in its own sign, but there'll be a lot more legislations or rules and laws and rules that you have to comply with, which is the nature of Saturn to overcome. So you have to be persistent in regards to that. All right, but still, very productive. Jupiter in the 10th house, big, opportunities for career. Saturn, you're working very persistently towards the achievement of your goals, even though it can dampen some of your, let's say, some of your some of your social life to some extent. And at the same time, Ketu is also in your 11th house. So indeed, Ketu is about letting go. So indeed, you'll be releasing certain friendships. You might even have some disappointment with certain friends. Or you see with the impartial eye of Saturn and the detached eye also of Ketu that these people, this person is not practical for me, or just they're wasting my time, or I no longer want to be member of this organization or association or this club because they suck or they don't really, you just see it practically and realistically and you let it go. um, Being member of clubs or such kind of stuff, but you create more lasting other connections and networks. And also Ketu can introduce some more spiritual friends into your life. Our friends that are interestingly from past lifetimes, but it also means that you're concluding your duty and responsibility to certain friends and your karma towards them, because Ketu is with Saturn, the planet of karma, in the 11th house of friends, and you can again let them go and release them, and Ketu facilitates that process. And also it can indicate that you're letting go of certain source of income or profit, but don't worry, Saturn is building new foundations there. So and you might feel, because Ketu makes one a bit disinterested towards those things, but Saturn still makes sure that he says you have those responsibilities and you're working hard towards the achievement of that goals. Just Ketu means like have a little bit more of a detached attitude towards the outcome. There will be a good outcome when you're doing the hard work, but you might not get as much joy and pleasure out of this process. That's what Saturn and Ketu will do there. On another level, Rahu will be in your fifth house. Now, wherever Rahu goes, you become very excited and passionate about that. Saturn makes you work hard on that. I wanted to know. Ketu is a bit apathetic towards that, and you're like, meh. But Saturn is there, so you're not going to abandon those achievement of goals. But Rahu in the fifth house is where you really get excited and you get your kicks out of this year. And it's the whole year it's in your fifth house. And the fifth house is like you become suddenly more passionate about glamour, about glitter, about celebrations. You become more glamorous about being in some central role. I've even seen people like meet celebrities when Rahu trans the fifth house, or start hanging out in more kind of exclusive places that are just for the royals, so to speak, or for the so-called celebrities and well-known people. And you can develop passion for fashion. The fifth house rules fashion and decorating yourself to stand out, to be like the celebrities, to be like the king, in the royal court. This is the fifth house. What did they do? They gambled. They wore fashions, those extravagant, beautiful things. They were just about performance. They watch performance, entertainment. So you get a lot more of that when Rahu is in the fifth house. It will amplify that, which is just as well because you have so many responsibilities and goals that you're following, that you need some entertainment, because Saturn is drying out a little bit your because of responsibilities and duties, and focused on so many kind of fulfilling of your long-term projects. But Rahu gives you an escape to go and have fun, to go take off that suit, that office suit, and go and glam up with high heels and expensive dress, and to attend. And again, Rahu blocks the access to friends somehow, or drains it, but Rahu allows you access to more entertainment. So going to places like theater, performances, developing more passion for literature, for performing artists. If you're someone who is a performer themselves, if you're someone who is in center stage positions, whether you're a speech maker, whether you're even on social media and you have to entertain others in some sort, Rahu will enhance this charisma of yours, will give it more spark. You can even give you success and more fame. I've seen people become famous in whatever field they are working in, or whatever field they are striving to achieve, a recognition and applause when Rahu transits the fifth house. And there will be this applause that comes to you now, through Rahu in the fifth house. Applause for your individual intelligence, for your individuality. Also, you'll become more charismatic when Rahu transits the fifth house. The ego inflames somehow, even a bit artificially, but the ego kind of you'll be able to look more confident, to pose more, to look more glamorous. And the fifth house is naturally the house. And if you're in creative arts, performer, if Rahu will introduce more sudden rise as well through those things, more passion for those things. And also, if you do anything creative, you're going to introduce more uh, foreign elements. You're gonna break the pattern with your creativity. Somehow, if you painted till now in one way, Rahu will introduce something exotic, unusual. Or if you're a fashion designer, for example, Rahu will introduce foreign elements into your whatever design line. Anything that you're doing with the creativity, which is the fifth house. Or if you're an actor, you can incorporate some new techniques, acting techniques. You might have to play, for example, a foreigner. You have to incorporate like a foreign accent or something, very exotic role or very unusual role of some sort, which is what Rahu rules. And you can break the mold there creatively. You can incorporate progressive methods, new exciting ideas as well. And more access to the glamorous world, to the world of the select little world of the elite in somehow. And I already know people that have Rahu in the fifth house. They just like all those glamorous things. They want to hang out with celebrities sometimes, and they want to hang out with the richest or the most glamorous people. And but you temporarily feel a bit like that, even if you're like super plain Jane. For a little bit you'll glam yourself up. When Rahu transits the fifth house, you'll become more expressive, you'll become more keen and passionate on expressing your creative talents and your uniqueness, maybe more entertaining. Rahu enhances the entertaining ability of a person and the confidence. And interesting enough, the fifth house is the house of romance or falling in love. Rahu can give like a temporary fascination with someone. It's very common transit when it transits the fifth house, that it really stimulates very fast the heart chakra, and one falls in love, especially with someone foreign or more exotic, or something more forbidden or taboo about this person, or just very different person than you, maybe much more glamorous or much more from a different social rank that is higher. So through a love affair, you can gain some kind of a rise into more prestigious a situation of some sort. But definitely it's kind of more excitable, more forbidden romance that happens, more risk-taking romance as well. And it kind of makes spices things up, in the way you have fun, in your entertainment, in your creative expression ways. You can discover new hobbies and new things to have fun that are exotic, a bit risque. Also, it gives you more passion for gambling. If you already have this issue, that can definitely intensify it. But they can suddenly, because Rahu is a material planet, gives sudden material gains. You can have like sudden winnings through gambling, unless your fifth house in the birth chart is pretty crap. You have Saturn there or something. But usually Rahu can give you like gambling winnings or lottery winnings as well of some sort. And if you're fascination for speculation, making kind of risky investments or risky speculative business deals of some sort, and you can suddenly gain from those. Rahu gives you access to have uh, sudden rise and material profits not through the conventional way of salary making, which is the 11th house, or profit for work done, but through some kind of gambling, through taking a risk financially, through investing in something risky suddenly. And it's temporary. While Rahu is in the fifth house, when it moves away, things can basically, we're not going to be the same again. Sudden falling in love. So also, you can become fascinated and more passionate about raising children, which is the fifth house. And you can become more excitable about children overall. And you can decide to incorporate some very foreign or progressive or new methods of raising children, to break with the old traditional ones and to investigate different ways. So you get passionate about learning more about that and using those methods. And you see very fast results usually as well. All right. So what else is happening? We spoke about Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Ketu. Oh, let's see. Well, I have to warn some of you because you have a strong Neptune transit, some of you Pisces. Neptune is going to, and it's for some of you can be very good. Neptune is going to transit either your sun, moon, or ascendant if they fall within the following degrees. Neptune is going to, this year is from 14 till 19 degrees in Pisces. So if you happen to have your sun, moon, or ascendant in those degrees, and particularly 16 till 19, because the 14th degree, Neptune has been affecting it for the past year and a half. So what I'm going to say now, you've been feeling it, and now it's ending. It's going to conclude by March, the last final hit of Neptune. But if you're 16 till 19 degrees, it is starting. It is starting from March, guys, or maybe you feel it before that as well, and will continue for another couple of years, I believe. 2019 and 2020, you're going to feel uh, maybe 16 degrees will stop by the end of 2019, but 17, 18, 19 degrees will feel it 2020 very likely too. And Neptune makes very slow transits. It's a once in a life transit. It takes a year and a half or 2 years for Neptune to make its influence. It's very subtle influence, but it's kind of like the background of your whole life. So if you have those degrees, let's try with the sun first, what happens when Neptune transited. But Neptune is a planet that's very aligned with you. It's considered the invisible ruler of Pisces. So it will enhance your Piscean qualities a lot more. And whether you're a sun, moon, or ascendant, you can just feel a bit more, much more spiritual, much more zoned out, much more kind of without rules, without. And thankfully, Saturn is in your 11th house, so it's kind of giving you some kind of desire to work hard towards achievement of goals in the practical way. But generally, if you're those degrees, the spaced out influence of Neptune will be felt very strongly, and you can feel a little bit like you're searching for yourself, like you're confused about your direction, whether it's your sun, moon, ascendant. With the moon, you can be extremely emotional. You can be feeling a lot of ups and downs emotionally. And Neptune has the tendency to put you on a super high, on a low. You can feel a little bit bipolar at moments. With the sun, moon, and ascendant as well, the moon is the one that feels it the most if it's in those degrees. And it can create a very strong longing for you, for something utopic, for something ideal. It might be longing for love. It might be longing for, usually the ascendant and the moon, it's for love. It might be longing for merging with another. It might be longing for the ideal career. And when it's the sun, a person might feel like they're dissatisfied with their current career, and that they lose interest towards it, because even though Jupiter is bringing that 10 houses, opportunities, but if you're those degrees, you're feeling Neptune. So it's kind of controversial, but Neptune, especially if it's a career, Neptune can make you dissatisfied or disinterested. If it's very materialistic career, if it's very much connected about something routine, if it's very much connected about uh, uh, business, administrative, government regulations, you kind of want to dissolve those regulations, and you kind of want to be a free flowing element of some sort. But Neptune can give you fantastic results if you have your sun at those degrees, if you're in a career that is Neptunian. This is when you can become famous, for example. In Neptunian careers is acting, is when you are impersonating another person, so that's acting. When you are taking on the identity of another, of course, acting. When if you're in medicine, if you're in drugs and pharma as well, if you're in anything to do with healing, um, as well, you can make you much more compassionate, intuitive in regards to that. And if you're in any career that is connected to something artistic, just like Rahu is intensifying your passion for creativity, and Neptune is also very artistic, imaginative. So if you're in an imaginative career and Neptune is transiting your sun, wow, like this can take off now. This can be the time your making. But more practical careers, you can feel some dissatisfaction. So you either, it might dissolve the career, or you might end the goals, or you might have to do something parallel, like do some more spiritual or artistic hobbies or activities, so you can satisfy this hunger of Neptune to connect to something higher, to connect to more, the higher realms. Maybe listen to more music. When Neptune makes a transit, sun, moon, or ascendant, especially in Pisces, people want to listen to so much more music. It kind of balances the emotions, because Neptune increases the water or the feeling side of you. Neptune ultimate goal is to refine you, to refine your senses, also to connect you to higher realms and higher expressions of unconditional love. But it can make you become very sacrificial while it's around, especially with the moon and the sun and the ascendant as well. You might find it hard to say no to people. So the advice, uh, uh, back essences. And there is one for Neptune and for Pisces in particular, if you're those degrees, the one that helps you say no, and that the one that helps you discriminate and put boundaries, because Neptune dissolves boundaries, and you can, while it's around, you can allow someone to take advantage of you more, because your love, unconditional love, is much stronger, and you kind of feel like we're all one, and you're willing to sacrifice yourself and help another during that time. So if there are less kinder people around you, they can take advantage of you. But on the same level, at the same time, it can be a fantastic time to serve, to help others, to be in some kind of charities, to give of your free times to those in need. Well, I remember when I had Neptune transit moon, I was every day for 5 hours speaking with my friends, helping them, and at the end I have to say no, enough, I'm drained. Mm, but with the moon, Neptune transiting the moon, they can be change of residence, they can be relocation overseas, they can be losing of connection, and dissolving of the sense of belonging to one place. And you might feel a bit ungrounded, like you don't belong somewhere. But often relocations can happen, or sometimes there can be water damage in the home, or moving to live closer to water of some sort, or they can be some emotional, some some confusion that is happening in the family, or sometimes there can be a loss of an important woman in the family, or the mother. With the sun, it might be the father, or dissolving of relationships with them. Sorry. Also, you have to take care of your health when Neptune is on sun, moon, or ascendant, because it increases the desire to escape reality, through whether it's through drugs, whether it's through escapism behaviors, but increases the tendencies for spirituality as well. So you can have fantastic results in meditation. It can be fantastic to go on a retreat, or even if it transits your sun, to stop working for a little bit and take a sabbatical, and take uh, just those degrees. All the other degrees, what I spoke about with Neptune and with Jupiter and Saturn, it will be more prominent for them. It's not this dissolution that's happening here. But those of you, they can be amazing spiritual breakthroughs for some of you, mystical experiences. But for the more practical, material people, they can feel a little bit unanchored, confused, spaced out, with tendency to have no boundaries, and with tendencies to do escapist things. And you have to take care of your health, because Neptune can signal the appearance of certain health problems that are connected with the lymph, or that are connected with invisible things that are kind of insidious, that creep on you, uh, or that are connected with mm, that's are hard to diagnose, or that are kind of hidden in some way, or that are connected to water retention, or to weakening a bit of the immune system, because Neptune dissolves boundaries, and of course this way viruses and such things can come more easily, and also fungal conditions of some sort. That's in the most negative sense, guys. um, and Neptune dissolves boundaries for things to grow. If there's some unbalance in in the body, but that's very extreme cases. It's mostly that you can gonna be in some kind of a more, your imagination will be super vivid. You are more emotional. You might be a bit unclear in regards to the path and direction. But thankfully, Jupiter in the 10th house, there will be help for you there, because there will be more it can help you gain the clarity for career, or it can help you get like some father figure who gives you direction and who helps you as well for to anchor you. And but for artistic, for spiritual activities, for anything to do with emotional introspection, Neptune transits are fantastic. Or for spiritual work of any sort, again, it can be, you can have extraordinary insights. You can have extraordinary intuitive hunches, but it very much depends if your sun, moon, or ascendant are well aspected. Because if they're not, they can be confusion and delusion, and even being uh, manipulated in some way or being misled in some way. And be careful that you're not the one also misleading yourself or misleading others, or being ambivalent as well. If there are good aspects to your sun, moon, or ascendant, which is more the nature of a good horoscope, of a personal horoscope reading, then Neptune can just make it magical time. Neptune can make it like where you're so much uh, intuitive, where you're so much and your intuitions are right, where you're so much more refined, you're so much into fine music, fine arts, into spiritual pursuits, into meditation, where you're so much more like things are flowing magically, aligning to you without any effort. That's when, if those planets have good aspects, then everything kind of uh, but otherwise, if there are some good and bad, usually it can feel like things are a little bit out of your hands, because Neptune, uh, its powers above you take control, and you have to learn with Neptune to let go and let God, rather than try to control everything. But hopefully Saturn is also giving you more stability there in the 11th house to follow through with goals as well. um, but it's a very small number of you that are having Neptune transit. Also, though, there are some that are being helped a lot, and not only that, but I think that a lot of you that are having the Neptune transit are actually having Saturn sextile, because Saturn is sextiling from 13 to 21 degrees Pisces. So these are all the Neptune influence as well. And Saturn, the sextile is a weaker aspect, but still it's you will feel it, that Saturn gives you this clarity. And I think this clarity, and that gives you this not running away with the fairies so much, not being too unrealistic, it will ground you. So actually, this year, this Neptune transit, despite of it being so, you know, so powerful psychologically, and it can detract, it can really dematerialize a lot of things and make you more isolating to your own private world. But don't worry, because Saturn is definitely giving you wise counsel and grounding you and making you see the unrealistic things, and somehow you continue to follow through with your projects and your goals. And anyone who has Pisces from 13 to 21 degrees sun, moon, or ascendant, the activities that they're doing now, they'll have a long-lasting stabilizing effect on them. Plus, some friend, older friend or more experienced friend or acquaintance can help them and can stabilize them, can be like a cornerstone for them and for their sanity this year. Also, if you have a Pluto is making a trine, no, a sextile aspect as well to the following degrees from 20 to 23 degrees Pisces. So this is good, again, support, helpful influence, and you don't have the Neptune transit, so Pluto will empower you in a gentle way. Again, from the 11th house, they can be some new friend or some powerful acquaintance of some sort that strengthens you, self-image, that strengthens, helps you achieve your goals of some sort, or it's just like, it's, again, it gives you more passion and intensity to achieve your goals, and it happens more easy and flows more easy. And they can be, if it's your moon in those degrees, they can be some intense, but in a positive way, emotional connection on a deeper, even more sexual connection with someone more platonic, more scorpionic in nature as well. That goes well, though, emotionally. And Pluto makes a trine to your seventh house cusp. So if you have your ascendant from 20 to 23 degrees in Pisces, very intense but positive sexual relationship of some sort, or business partnership that is empowering, uh, that can eventually bring more profits as well, but that someone is helping you take your power back, or you are kind of taking your power back in relationship, but in a good way, in a intense but positive way, so to speak. It's not destabilizing your life, it's not destroying you first like Pluto likes to do, but it builds upon some relationship or deepens it in some way. All right, now let's see the Mercury retrograde periods, guys, for you. In March is the most important one for you, because Mercury goes retrograde the most of March in the sign of Pisces. So Pisces will feel it, especially if you have your ascendant on the moon from 15 to 30 degrees of Pisces. March is such a pivotal month for you. So the last 15 degrees, because, and even for earlier Pisces, because Mercury is retrograde in your sign, in your first house, there will be some rearrange, some very important conversations that are happening, because Mercury rules your seventh house. There might be the examination of a relationship that's happening and reassessment of it, examination of a contract or agreement, and examining the rules of agreement, whether they're fair, or if not, it can be removed, that relationship, agreement, or contract. There can be the need for you to use your skills much more intensely, with more efforts, 3 times more efforts using your skills, whether it's communicative or professional skills of any sorts, of writing, speaking, or whatever it is, and knowledge, in order um, to do some project that you're personally involved in, that you might have to do a lot of important things with editing, fixing. They can be definitely increase the flow of information, the need of some paperwork, reports, business transaction deals, but fixing some problems there. Or if you're working on some commercial project or product, you might have to revise it and edit it and fix it. But people that are in business, this can be extremely productive time, where they exert 3 times more efforts in any such kind of mercurial business activities or communicative activities or written activities. And by mid-April, the results will be 3 times more lasting, but it's stressful itself while this is happening around March. So very big, stressful, or kind of important time for anything to do with business, communication, travels. Travels can be a little bit, you might have to be prepared for some surprises as well, but those things are around you. And some people from the past might connect with you, get in touch with you as well. Relationship partnerships or business partnerships from the past can be resumed or to be re-examined in some way. And then the next time Mercury goes retrograde is July, most of July, and it's happening in the fifth house for you, in Cancer, most of the time. So fifth house is romance, so they can be some kind of romantic relationship that is being re-examined, or that is needs important conversations and renegotiation uh, of the rules, or there might be some more demanding things that are happening with your children. But don't worry, Rahu is giving you passion for all those things at the same time to deal with them. And like your efforts have to put more, your children have to put more efforts, or maybe something, some creative project that you have to redo or fix, or maybe some old um, uh, uh, creative projects that that you revive, or that you have to fix something there, uh, or that comes back to you, or some romance from the past can come back to, you know, to see them again, or to think more about them, or to see it from a different perspective as well. Uh, and the last time Mercury goes retrograde is November, from the 1st till the 20th. And that's in Scorpio, and that's in your ninth house. It can be time to revise some knowledge that you have. It might be time to change plans, or to prepare, and to be about some lecture, about some higher knowledge, or about some university matters that require more efforts for you, or academic matters. So it might have to be about some foreign travel that either gets delayed, or it needs to put more efforts in order for you to make it happen. And there might be some surprises there, but it's supportive, because Mercury is sending a trine to you. Or maybe if you're expecting documents for foreign residence, or for some legal documents, there might be the need to add certain information to fix something there as well. There might be communications, or getting in touch with friends from foreign countries around that time, or people from that are in faraway places. And lastly is Mars, where it's moving for you guys. Well, uh, you have two Mars influences this year, and this is when the year gets very active and a lot of things are happening then. Actually, I think that, um, let's see, Mars goes into Gemini April till mid May. So, April and the first part of May, Mars is in Gemini, which for you Pisces is your fourth house. So it can create some tensions with family, the likelihood for more arguments, or the likelihood of certain things to escalate there. You can create more emotional restlessness as well, and willingness to fight and to argue, not just with family, but with other people as well, and more defensiveness and reactiveness. But at the same time, is going to be very good time to fix something in your home if there something might need repairs that breaks down in your home, to do some some DIY around home, to move stuff, or to do some project together with family where you're putting energies together towards that mutual project, or you're going to feel more excited or more ambitious towards you know uh, it can be a period of moving, for example, a period of doing something, fixing, something on the home or in the garden as well, or on your car as well. So getting things done around the house and being very active there. But generally it makes a person, because Mars is sending aspect to your 7th, to your 10th house, it gets more busy time to get to tackle problems, to fix things, but also more time that it's likelihood that you overreact and you're more stressed than normal. But Mars brings this fire to get difficult things done and to get more ambitious and proactive. And the next time this is happening is in Gemini, and then it goes in Virgo. When does it go in Virgo? Cancer, Leo. Yes. So from August 19th and the whole of September, Mars is going to be in your 7th house, guys. So this period again gets more hectic. You might be much more active doing some project together with another person, or being much more involved in actions with others, but also it can be more provocations that come to you from partners. But you can be more proactive in partnership, pursuing business deals, going after new clients as well. You can be much more have this state of mind where you're going to force others to take your terms of agreement, and that you're a much more ruthless negotiator, let's say, and less willing to compromise. But maybe sometimes this is needed, so you kind of break through the defense of others, or you kind of you can impose your rules on others, or you can feel that others do it to you, that others are pressing your buttons, or that they're more irritable, that they're more stressed, and that they push your energy, but they act like your engine now. They act, even if they aggravate you for some reason, whether it's clients or personal partner, marriage partner, or boyfriends, girlfriends, or another person. They act as like an engine to get you moving, to fix something, to get you more proactive. So yeah, and especially if you have some mutual project with another, this is really good time to go after it. And I think that's it, because after that I don't see any more. Next time should be Mars in uh, from Virgo in Sagittarius, but I think it comes after that. It comes from 2020. So these are the two periods that are much more hectic, much more happening. If you want to initiate things, this is when you'll be able to initiate that, but also you're more emotionally reactive, and you can be more physically active as well. More energy is there. But be careful not to enter confrontations around those times, sometime in this period, depending on your degrees, but I can't go to it day through day. It will make it too long. In my monthly written, in the yearly written, I'll have month by month and the degrees, but that takes so much work. I'm still working on them. The written ones will come on the 25th, and they're month by month, not overall like those videos. So thank you so much, Pisces. Interesting year. You see, there will be visibility, there will be recognition, there will be working towards goals. For some of you, there will be very good things developing in regards to relationships that, or in regards to well, I lost my and love affairs, Rahu in the fifth house. So go over this video over the year, come back to it. You'll see those trends are starting to happen and to manifest. So thank you so much, and yeah, happy New Year.